Hey, Ravanthi here. I didn't know I would have to make a video like this so early into this account's life, but two individuals have decided to force my hand. But before anything else, introductions are in order. I am the owner of Soul Workshop, a dev group on Roblox. I was previously developing a Dark Souls experience that is currently on hold, and right now I am working on 3 roleplay games publicly. However, there is a fourth, and it's the one that is most important to me by far, as it's a love letter to the first RP game I ever played at the age of 7 years old. This private game is Kingdom Life 4, an experience that was a fan-made sequel to Kingdom Tales. If you're not sure of why it's not called Kingdom Life 3 instead, I'll fill you in quickly. Kingdom Life 2 was originally created by BoopBot, and sometime in 2012, banned user and publicly ostracized file DevBucket, then the LolGuy301, got permission from BoopBot to re-upload Kingdom Life 2, fix its broken scripts, and make a bunch of quality of life adjustments such as proper character customization, roleplay names, weapon selection, etc. Sometime later, around 2014 or 2015, Kingdom Life 3 was opened in an alpha state, and to this day I am banned on the now lost artifact that is Kingdom Life 3. It had a very short life and gave way to Kingdom of Hrengar, which I never wanted to play and thought was pretty dumb. It marked a turning point in Kingdom Life that eventually gave way to Kingdom Tales, which I think is a terrible way to end the Kingdom Life series as a dedicated player of 14 years, but I digress. Anyways, with that timeline out of the way, I can explain Kingdom Life 4. I wanted it to be just like the early stages of DevBucket's Kingdom Life 2, since no copies of it exist on Roblox. I also saw an opportunity to take artistic liberties and implement changes to lore that was dreadfully elementary, at least in my opinion. So I worked on it for about a month, lost steam, and let the file collect dust on my desktop. Until I started playing Memory Forge's Kingdom Life 2 remaster, where I met Fungi Boy while roleplaying / softcore trolling as a goblin. He seemed pretty cool at the time, so after a while I invited him to work on Kingdom Life 4 with me after we talked about wishing there was a remaster for the first game out there somewhere. This was the biggest mistake I could have possibly made. Everything was going fine at first. The map was being expanded on while I was handling the morphs, and eventually he brought his friend Enchant FOL along to animate. The first day all 3 of us were building together was mostly spent not doing much and just playing around, debugging morphs after going through team testing. But about a day or 2 later, I noticed that while Fungi and I were actually working, Enchant was in a permanent state of doing jack shit aside from making joke morphs that were never going to be used. He was treating my game like a sandbox, and I didn't like that, so I asked Fungi to talk to him about it, thinking that it would lead to a better outcome than me confronting him directly. And I was right, it did. But after a couple more days of Enchant doing jack shit, I decided to confront him myself and ask why he wasn't doing much after I told Fungi what I wanted Enchant to focus on. This was in response to Fungi telling me that the reason Enchant wasn't doing anything was because he wasn't being told what to do. Not a very good excuse, but okay, he's a kid, I'll bite. So, thinking Fungi would relate to Enchant what my wishes were, I told him that I would like Enchant to focus on emotes and keybind animations for the time being, since he had the most to offer as an animator. That's why I brought him on in the first place. This was never told to Enchant, however, so it all turned out to be a big match of the telephone game, and after the air was cleared, Enchant could finally start doing things. A little while later, he came to me with an arm cross emote since I told him I thought good idle poses were severely lacking in both versions of the original Kingdom Life 2. It was decent, and I gave him feedback on it after praising him for his work, both on the animation and the dwarf morph that he had made, using Kingdom Life 2's own dwarf for reference. Later on, when we were in DMs hanging out, he started joking about my boyfriend, which I didn't really appreciate. I'm pretty protective of him, and so I told him that in a respectful manner, and he agreed not to do it again. Everything was fine. Until I was told by the 3rd developer on the game and close friend, Killer Chills, that Enchant had sent a screenshot of our DMs with the words gay-ass and gay-ass faggot typed into his message box ready to send, which he never did. He quickly deleted the message from the group chat, however. Too fast for Killer Chills to screenshot it, but too slow for him not to have seen, so he told me about it. Between Killer Chills making good on his word to me 100% of the time and seeing a notification in the group chat that when clicked on revealed no new messages, it was pretty obvious that he was telling me the truth, so I confronted Enchant about it. He denied it at first, twice, until I told him that I wouldn't be as upset if he was just honest with me. He finally gave in and told me the truth, but didn't apologize to me. Just said that he didn't know any better because that's how he jokes around with friends. To which I replied, we've known each other for 4 days. I'm 20 years old, joking like that isn't really something I'm into anymore. I asked him not to do it again and he seemed to understand, but then whenever I thanked him for that understanding, he told me something that confused me. This is verbatim. I won't if you just don't change Fungi's stuff cause he was kinda pissed about it. Maybe you can keep the OG when you work on the new one. All I gotta say. My bad anyways though. He was talking about me changing one of the morphs Fungi had made that I didn't think looked good. I think, showing them side by side on screen, most people would agree that it wasn't a good morph before I changed it to fit in with the rest of the morphs that I had made myself. So, when he told me this, I asked him if I was hearing him right. My exact words were, "You're gonna call me a faggot because I changed a morph to look better and your friend didn't like it? Is that what I'm hearing?" What he replied with amounted to, he made it that way because he likes how it looks and it's in his style. If you respect us, I'll respect you. I made it very clear to him that I wasn't disrespecting Fungi and I wasn't disrespecting him, and that I wanted my game to look good. Unfortunately, Fungi's morphs simply didn't, so I changed one of them. I told him that at the end of the day, it's my project, and the art direction I'm taking is the art direction that the devs should take as well. I wasn't being rude in any way with my wording. That's simply how being a game director works. This, apparently, was news to the both of them. Then came the nuclear fallout. The messages were deleted by Enchant, but he gave me pushback on it, and I told him more sternly than before that it's my game, my ideas, and 90% of the morphs were built from scratch by me, the other 10% of which were used as basis by Fungi. I let him know that I had no intentions on releasing a game that looked like it dropped in 2008, and that I wasn't gonna let Fungi do that just because he liked Kingdom Life 1. I also said that if he doesn't like that, he's not obligated to stay, and that he's free to take that kind of direction with his own game. This, apparently, was a great idea to Enchant, because he then saved a local copy of Kingdom Life 4 to his computer, deleted everything on the real version, and then told me, verbatim, "Pleasure doing business with you." If I hadn't been smarter then, I wouldn't have a backup of Kingdom Life 4 downloaded mere seconds before Enchant stole everything and deleted it on my computer. So, about a week of joining and leaving the server later, Fungi finally decides to stay. The first message he sends is promoting his own server, which I obviously delete, and then he asks when I email reported Enchant FOL to Roblox. I told him that I did that when he admitted to stealing my game and then deleted the DMs where he did so. I let him know that if he felt like apologizing for taking Enchant's side and being on the wrong side of things both morally and legally, that we could hash things out and put the beef behind us. But no, of course things couldn't be that simple. He couldn't just admit that the both of them were wrong. How could they? That would be too hard. We had a back and forth that you're seeing on screen right now. I wasn't gonna just run the risk of him deleting his messages like Enchant did, so I screenshotted our entire conversation in the Soul Workshop server before banning him indefinitely upon its conclusion, because he doesn't deserve for me to share my space with him after being an accessory and accomplice to theft. This is the end of the video. I want to thank you, the viewer, for watching, and I want to say fuck you to Fungi and Enchant for having the audacity to try and make me feel like the bad guy in all of this and continuing to use my game as the bones of their own without my permission. Cheers to the both of you, and good luck. God knows that, with the quality of your scripting and building, you're gonna need it.